Daan, and I'm an electrical engineering student in Eindhoven. I'm studying there also at Fontes Hogeschool in Eindhoven. It's University of Applied Sciences. As you know, electrical engineering can be tough, especially some subjects like mathematics or electrical engineering or electrical circuits. However, it's quite difficult to find a tutor who is specializing in electrical engineering in the Netherlands. So I was searching at teacheron.com and found that, or on Google actually, and then I found Teacheron and I posted a request there. And in a short time, there was a lot of emails that I got from online tutors, so I was trying to see which of them was suitable for me. So finally I saw Vinnie Jindal and I was contacting him via WhatsApp, and we had a talk because for me it's quite important to see if there's a click or there's some kind of thing, that seems that we can work together, because it's actually a commitment to each other. Actually, he expects me that I work hard for it, and I expect, of course, someone who is knowledgeable and who you can work together. So I really like the idea that because I'm very interested in India, because I found out that they have a lot of engineers there actually, which I didn't know, and it was quite surprising that there is also a lot of interest in electrical engineering, which is quite the opposite. If you have in the Netherlands, for example, there are not that many engineers actually. However, we have actually quite a lot of companies that are in the high tech. Some of them are the world leaders in it. Because if you know, Eindhoven is a high-tech place. You have companies like NXP, VDL, Philips, and of course a famous player is ASML. So my school or my engineering course focus especially on digital design and on the technology of chip making. So I had needed some help with analog circuits, math, maybe other subjects which would be helpful for my study. So I spoke there with Vinit, and he's a really nice gentleman, very open and also very curious about other cultures, other nations. So that's really nice to have, and he adapted to my requirements and to my needs. That's really important, because I said that I want to do the AC signals with phasor diagrams instead of complex numbers. Although I know that complex numbers is widely used and is actually standard for calculating AC signals. However, my study required that we used phasor diagrams. So Vinit told me that it was his hobby to use phasor diagrams, and he knew a lot about them, and I really was happy about that, because he was listening to my requirements, and that's really important, because those are the requirements of my school, and I have to follow that also. So the first lessons were quite impressive for me. Instead of memorizing a lot of things, he was actually explaining a lot of basics. He did it very effectively with just a digital pen. Online he had a sort of program, a whiteboard. Actually what he was creating was actually a mind map. So for me it's really easy to make notes afterwards, because I was using Skype and I was recording it. Because he was writing so fast for me that I need to replay it, and then I had to make my own notes, and I had to listen again what he was telling, and that was really actually quite nice to do it like that way, because then you can save it on your computer and you can re-listen again. So actually you have a digital lecture or digital tutoring on your computer that you can listen again. So that's really quite nice to have that. So that was quite different, because a lot of things what I thought was memorizing, but he was actually the opposite. He was against rote learning, which I'm also against with, because he wants that you understand the thing what you get. So he told me also that he wasn't that good in memorization, or he actually said that he told me that he had actually a bad memory. But that's actually, I think, is sometimes the advantage, because he when you ask him something, he immediately knew how to solve it. So actually, what kind of problem you had, or what kind of problem he would get, he could just tackle it, because the basics were so good that he could do it, just solve it, without even effort, sometimes I think. So I was quite amazed by that. So that makes me also think, well, maybe I have to change in my thinking instead of memorization. I need to understand the subjects, less memorization, and just understand it, because every problem in your engineering later on in your life or job will always be different. You just need to understand it. So that was quite amazing, actually, from Jindal. So he knew it very well. He was also quite patient, and that is also very good, because he knew that every student is different, from which background ever. It's actually for him it's a challenge to make a student actually better. So for me it was really a nice experience to have Vinny. He's a really nice gentleman. He always listens to you, and he makes the effort to make the lessons enjoyable, with humor also, because that makes it also fun. You have a fun time together, even though the subjects can be sometimes boring. Although you need to pass it on the exam, it's really good to have someone who can also laugh with you and have a good time. That went well, and I can say Vinith talked also about GATE, which is familiar or popular in India, I think, or in the world. They know it. Well, in the Netherlands, I've never heard about it. We don't even use it. So it seems that it was a test or something that is really, really hard. And I believed immediately. I saw it. So he's told me that he has also done it. So I think maybe if I'm ready for it, I should do it also, because I see it has a good effect on him. And Vinith has also done the IIT, which is also very famous for its rigorous passing exam or test exam, so that you can enter the school actually there. But overall, he always has some respect for other people, and is a really nice gentleman. And of course, he was really good, because what he's teaching, for me in the beginning was like, okay, I am absorbing the information, and afterwards I could just do the exercises. If it was a cakewalk, it was a breeze. Just what he taught me. If you understand the basics, and you learn to, instead of cramming, you can memorize a lot of answers, you can memorize everything. You cannot become actually a real engineer. You need to understand and be familiar with the subjects, and you need to understand why things are working in the end. However, I admit, if you are in the company, there will be a lot of practical things which you also need to learn, and then of course not all theory will be applied, but somehow it's also not always needed. It's about that you just understand how it works, so that if it is needed, then you can apply it to the situation of it. So I can recommend Vinith. I can recommend Vinith Jindal, because I think he's capable of doing it, and he's a hardworking Indian guy, and above all, his way of teaching is making mind maps actually for your brain, so that even the hardest stuff you can do it. because you don't need to memorize dozens of formulas. But of course you need to practice. That is always a true thing, of course. You need to practice, but with the applied basics you can practice as much as you want, because every problem that comes to you, you understand why things is working. So that is a really important thing. So I can recommend Jindal very much. Also as an international student, of course. Review. You should take a try. Cheers. Have a good evening.